and welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Shiv. Hello, if you're coming back then welcome. Who remembered her intro? In today's video I have this look right here, which is kind of a review slash tutorial of the bPerfect Gravity Palette. I thought while I really dive into my makeup creating roots again here on YouTube, I thought let's just dive in with a palette tutorial review. I feel like that's kind of where my heart entails. I love trying out new palettes. This one is Gravity, the shadow palette from bPerfect Cosmetics. It looks like this, and this is the look that I created. So if you would like to see how I got this look and my thoughts, feelings, opinions, emotions on the eyeshadow palette, then please carry on watching. Before you do, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you're alerted when I upload a new video. I'd really appreciate it. And go ahead and follow me on my social media pages if you do so, please. My username is Siobhan Makeup Biz on all platforms. That is Instagram, TikTok, and Lemonade, which is a new one. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into the tutorial. I've done one brow off camera and now I'm going to do the other one, and you can look at the difference. Obviously this brow isn't for everyone, but I just love it. I feel like it just makes me feel my best self, you know. So I'm taking the By Ellie Brow Shape. This is my new favourite brow product. It's just like so easy to use, and when I tell you this stuff is strong, if you have really coarse brows, this brow shape is going to do you absolute wonders. Got a spoolie. So I've just sprayed my spoolie with some water. That is just a really old setting spray bottle that I've just put some water in. And then once your spoolie is nice and kind of wet, you're going to put it into the product and give it a little swell like that to get off the product. Don't really need that much, so don't go too crazy. You can go crazy if you want to go crazy. And then I'm literally just going to, I'm not going to go back and forth because I find that this stuff is so strong. If I do that, I literally can't bring it back. So I'm just going to start by pulling up my brows, and taking the spoolie and just giving a nice little twisting motion at the end like this to kind of like roll the product into the brows. And this stuff is so strong, so a little bit of like kind of force will go. And just make sure to obviously hydrate your brows when you're doing your skincare, because it will make this a lot easier and prevent like your brow hairs from popping out. Want them to. So it's just brushing up the front like that, and then once I've kind of got them all brushed up, I'm just going to use the spoolie to kind of map out the shape that I want. I definitely need to sort out my brow, but I'm putting off getting them waxed and shaped and stuff before I go on holiday in early July. Just because I feel like when you let your brow hairs grow out before you get them done, they look so much better. So that's why I look part woman, part eyebrow more than I usually do. So yeah, that's why this one doesn't really have a lot of shape, but I'm just letting them grow out, letting them embrace their best cave woman life for the time being. Right, and then they feel super sticky, and what I love about this is it adds a shine to the brow rather than that like dry, like cakey look. So yeah, just let that dry down for the moment. Obviously, if you have like finer brows, you could totally fill them in at this stage, but I don't feel like I need to. So I'm just gonna leave them like that, and that's the brows done. I'm now just going to take a cotton bud and some micellar water. This is like my favorite kind of way just to make sure that I'm gonna get a really nice eye look, because when you use like a brow wax or something, you're gonna have residue around the kind of edges of the brow, and then if you pop your eyeshadow base or concealer or whatever on top of it, it's going to add a little bit of texture, which you probably don't want for your eye look. You want them to be nice and smooth, right? So I just like to wipe underneath that brow and make sure there's no excess kind of lying around. If you're wearing SPF, of course, feel free to touch it up at this point, or do your SPF after you've done your brows. Protect your skin, everything. You'll thank yourself in like 30 years time, I promise you. And you know what's also really funny is my skin was so clear, like when I tell you so clear, I did like these inspirational Instagram stories the other day because I was so happy with how my skin was. And then that very evening I looked in the mirror and saw the tiniest under the skin like milia sort of bump. You know, the sebaceous filaments that are like, you can feel them when they pop out, they're like really hard. I had one just here where this red mark is on my chin. I was like, oh, well, you know, my skin's clear, I'll pop that out and then I'll just get rid of the mess. And I was squeezing it so hard in the bathroom with like a really hot flannel, managed to get it out, and it was so satisfying, you guys. Like, it was like really hard. Sorry if you get grossed out, but I think they're so satisfying. And then the next morning I woke up with this because I realised I'd squeezed my face so hard I'd given myself a little burn on my face, and this is just textured like red skin, so that's fun. Don't do that. That was just a little bit of girly advice. Don't squeeze your face to death, especially when you have clear skin. So that is all done. Now I'm going to move on to my eyeshadow base. Sorry if you can hear a wood pigeon around. It's just obviously wanting to hype me up filming this video early this morning. Because usually I film late at night, and today it is currently like 8:15 a.m. and I'm trying to film some of this before work and then some of this on my lunch break. So I'm now going to take some sellotape and just peel that off, and basically I'm going to take a piece of tape and apply this from the outer corner of my kind of eye right the way towards the brow, so you have a really sharp kind of crisp look to the eye. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I kind of have an idea, and basically this is going to create a really nice sharp edge without you having to worry about being super neat towards the outer corner. If you are new to my channel, you will know aren't new to my channel, you will know this is something I used to do in like every single tutorial, and I don't know why I ever stopped. I felt like maybe I was feeling boring or something, but it's just the best way to do your eyeshadow. Then once you have the tape on there, I'm going to take my eyeshadow base, which is the bPerfect Perfect Prime eyeshadow base. You can tell this is very well loved, all the product around the cap. This stuff is so nice because it dries down quickly, so I just recommend doing one eye at a time, like with the eyeshadow base with this. But I love this sometimes more than the P. Louise one, just because it's just so much easier to use. The P. Louise one just takes a lot more kind of time to pack it on, even though it is obviously an amazing eyeshadow base. So I've just really been loving this one lately. I'm just kind of roughly applying that all the way across the lid and in that inner corner where I get blue with the applicator. Then I'm now going to take a concealer brush. This is like a flat synthetic brush. I'm just going to start kind of patting that into the lid just to get some product on the brush, really. Pat, 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 and kind of like make sure that's nice and evenly spread. And then once I've got some product on the brush, I'm just going to use that to carve underneath my brow. It doesn't have to be like super sharp, but it does make the eyeshadow look a lot more clean. I'm just kind of brushing that underneath the brow line. If you're someone who has recently done your eyebrows, like went and got them, you know, HD brows or brow lamination, brow wax, this would obviously be so much easier, but I don't really have a lot of shape underneath the brow at the moment. I'm just going to pat that out using the brush. And I'm just patting that in now just to kind of make sure it's really nice and even and it sets down evenly. So jumping into the palette, we have some beautiful cool tones. I never thought I would say it, but yeah, this is absolutely stunning. This is probably the most like stunning cool tone palette I think I've ever seen, because usually cool tones just aren't really my thing, but this is gorgeous and I love the shimmer shades. I'm obviously tempted to go towards the more like kind of bronzy cool tone here. However, I am going to use some of the more smoky shimmers just to kind of stay true to the palette and like really give those cool tones a try. So I'm taking the shade Gravity right here, which is like a very cool toned grey. Obviously grey is cool tone, but you know what I mean. It's a very kind of slate grey kind of shade. I'm going to take that on a Morphe M456 brush and I'm just going to start packing that through the crease. And that base has dried down really nicely, so it's going to be nice and easy. So I'm just starting with that kind of outer corner area. I'm just kind of building that up to start with, going in little circular motions, and then I'm just going to slowly bring that through the crease, just in little wiggling motions to really pack on that product. This is going to be the base for the whole look. But this grey is going on so nicely. I feel like cool tones are just kind of harder to blend in my humble opinion. So when you find a cool toned shadow that's working so nicely, it's perfect. So yeah, loving this so far, as you can tell. I'm now going to go back into the palette and take the shade Grayscale right here, which is a lighter kind of grayscale kind of shade, like a super light slate grey. I'm going to use this to blend out that dark grey colour. So I'm just going into the shadow. This is a Zoeva 227 brush, just tapping off the excess, and then I'm just going to start by slowly kind of like tickling this on top of that darker grey shade, just to kind of diffuse the edges. Because this is like a grey look, I do feel like it has the potential to be super messy, but if these shadows are nice, it will make my life a lot easier. So I'm just kind of blending that around, not being too kind of haphazard with it. I'm actually trying to be fairly careful that I'm not kind of just going in big circular motions, just almost like little tickles and then little swirls, because if you go in big circular motions, the grey shadow is just going to get everywhere and it's just such a pain to clean up. But so far so good. The shadows are performing really nicely and they're blending in together beautifully. I'm so excited to play with the shimmers in a moment. So as you can see, we're just blending that out, taking our time on this step because it will make the world of difference to the makeup look. And then going to go back to that really dark grey shadow just here, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to go back and forth where I have applied that dark shadow before and then blend it up into the light grey, just to kind of build on what we had before and make sure that kind of darkness is still showing. Gosh, the birds are tweeting this morning. I'm now going to go in with this pale kind of creamy off-white shade, which is called Weightless, which is really perfect to add to this palette because it's going to help you to blend out those cool tones. So I'm now going to take it on a Morphe M506 brush. I absolutely love this brush and I always remind myself every single time I use it to buy another one because I feel like these are such an essential brush, especially when doing more like creative makeup looks. Just going to blend that out right on top into that brow bone, and this is just going to help create a really nice seamless look. Because this is super light, you don't have to worry about being too neat, but this is just going to help to diffuse those edges and bring in that kind of smokiness, that nice blend going on. Yeah, just a really good step to definitely not miss when creating a smoky look. And it's just blending back and forth all the way through that inner corner. Then what I'm going to do is go back and forth throughout the colours that I've already used, so that dark grey, that kind of slate grey, and then the milky white shade, just a few times just to really build up how I want the look to look. So I'm just starting off with the darker shade through that crease, back and forth, and then wiggling it in that outer corner. And then just taking that lighter grey shade, tapping off the excess quite a bit because I don't want it to go too crazy, and I'm just very lightly like tickling the edges again, just to re-add that in and make sure it's kind of nice and smooth. And then finally, once again, I'm going in with that Weightless shade. I think it's a really good name for the shadow actually. And I'm just going to re-add this on the outer edge of this kind of smoky look that we have going on, which is just really gonna tie it all together. So we are going old school now and cutting the crease. I'm so here for the old school kind of makeup vibe. So what I'm going to do is just take a cotton bud and some micellar water, just kind of tap it off the back of my hand so it's not like dripping wet, and just use this to cut the crease. I've already done this side as you can see, and then I'm just going to go in. You kind of want a little bit of that dark shade to peek through around the cut crease because that's going to give it the really defined look. I just feel like this kind of method is the best way to test out an eyeshadow palette because you get to use loads of different shades. I'm just removing the base on the lid and then taking the cotton bud and sweeping it through like where my eyeball is, basically, to create that shape. And I'm going to go slightly above the crease because I do have slightly hooded eyes. But as you can see, just making sure it matches up on the other side. Oh, got a little bit of wonkiness here. Let's fix that up. That was so easy. And then now, because you've got that base completely clear of base, that area free of base even, I can't talk this morning, it will make it really, really easy to apply the eyeshadow base later on. Now, for the lid, you could totally use a black base or like even a shimmery base to really intensify these kind of shimmer shades from the palette, but I'm actually going to go in with the eyeshadow base just because I want to use some of the lighter colours and also just see how well the shimmer shades perform. So I'm going to go ahead and just go back to the bPerfect Perfect Prime eyeshadow base. Just kind of take it off the wand. I'm going to start with this side, I think. I'm going to apply this generously to my brush, trying to make the brush as flat as possible because it's really just going to help with the application. I am actually going to use this on both sides, load up the tip of the brush, just kind of squish that down so it's flat as possible. This is a brush from P. Louise. Any kind of like slightly rounded flat concealer brush is absolutely perfect for this, and because we've mapped out the shape by cutting the crease, I think it's going to help a lot more. So I'm just going to go ahead and start kind of patting on that product and then just kind of going up against the crease, and then I like to kind of tug a little bit, kind of get an even line, and definitely this is a step to take your time with. I'm just going to switch to this brush. Oh, got an itchy nose. Hay fever. I'm going to switch to this brush that I got from Show because it does actually have a much more like defined edge to it. I think that will do. So we've got the base on the lid ready to go. Before I start packing on the lid shades, I'm just going to make sure the base is kind of nice and smooth. There's no like funny lines or anything. Because if you pop shadow or any kind of makeup product on top of creases that are already there, it's going to crease more. I'm going to start. I'm quite excited actually. I feel like I've got really itchy like nose area. Oh my god. Today, so just bear with me. Also, I kept forgetting to put on these lights. There we go, much more professional looking. Oh my god, my nose. This is what it feels like. I'm gonna start into the shadows. I'm really excited to jump into the shimmers, and I'm gonna take the shade. I'm tied between this one here, which is called Cosmic Dust, and this one here, which is called Magnetic, but I think I'm going to take Magnetic here, which is this kind of like foiled silver shade, and then pop this one on the inner corner later on. So I'm going to start off by taking Magnetic. I'm taking a really cheap old synthetic brush. Doesn't even have a brand. I don't know where it's from. It's actually a really good brush. So I'm just going to take a flat kind of synthetic brush and go into this Magnetic shadow. Oh. Just going into the shadow already, I can just tell, like, look how much product is on that brush. That, to me, that's a really good sign when it comes to a foiled shadow, because it's not like an overspray, it's not an eyeshadow like topper, it's an actual beautiful shimmery shadow. And I'm just gonna stitch those creases, and I'm just gonna kind of pack this on, like, I'd say like the first 2/3 of the inner corner. Press. Okay, yeah, sorry. What? Stunning! I love bPerfect shadows, so I just kind of feel like I went in with this tutorial / review video like knowing that I was gonna love, you know, the products that I'm using. I pretty much use my carnival palettes all the time when I'm going to like raves and festivals. They're just my go-tos, and this is stunning. Like, look at that foil. Gorgeous. I'm just gonna use the tip of the brush to kind of go around the edges and try and get it as neat and as crisp as possible. This is stunning. This is giving me like alien realness. Realness? Oh my god, I'm going back like 3 years in time. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure there's no excess on the brush and then go up into that crease. That is literally so stunning. Gorgeous. This is definitely the best silver shadow I've used. So I know this review is probably coming off like super overly positive, but I'm just really enjoying using this palette. Like so far it's going exactly how I want it to. Beautiful, like foiled, metallic, glittery but not too glittery kind of eye. Love that. I'm now just going to flip this brush over and then go in. I can't decide between this shade here, which is called Force Field, which looks super like foiled and gorgeous, or this shimmery black called Black Hole. I think I'm going to go with Force Field, which is this slightly darker shimmer. I think it will look really, really nice. So I'm going to take that right here and then pop it on the rest of that blank space that we've got right here. Okay, this one I'm having, oh, got a fun little texture, this shadow. Kind of have to push it a little bit. Reminds me a little bit of some of the Huda Beauty shadow textures, where it almost like has that sealant in it that makes it kind of sticky, which is a good thing because it's going to stick to the shadow. Okay, very, very different texture to that magnetic shade. Magnetic is more of like a shimmery shadow, whereas this Force Field shade is more like a pressed foil texture. That would be the best way to explain it. So I'm just using this to fill in that blank space, kind of going up to that section that is completely blank right by the crease. Gorgeous. And this is just going to create a nice seamless kind of appearance to that look. Just different textures on the eye create such a nice look. Yeah, really happy with that. I'm then going to go back in with that shade Gravity, just loading up the brush, and then I'm just going to kind of like diffuse the edges of the outer corner fairly messily, just kind of tickling it back and forth, just so it's not like this weird kind of patchy line at the outer edge. Blending that back and forth. Okay, this look is becoming stunning, I won't even lie, like I'm so happy with it. I get such a kick out of a good makeup look. Love! Yes, stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye and I'll be right back. Did I just say cool? Yes, I did. I'm now going to be super brave and attempt my liner, but because we have the tape on, it's going to be so much easier. And I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner. This is really nice if you just want like that really rich, deep line and you do have a little bit more time on your hands. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little shake and then just go in with the product, which looks like this. It's kind of like a brush applicator. I actually really do like this liner. I just don't use it very often because I find I don't have a lot of time for like intense makeup looks these days. I need to like give myself the time to do it because obviously I'm loving it and it's putting me in such a good mood and it's sunny outside. What more could you want? So I'm going to start with this eye and I'm just going to apply my liner. I'm probably going to go quiet through this just because it is like a process. You can always tell the better mood I'm in, the more I stumble my words I feel and the weirder I am. The true Gemini comes out. Okay, I'm now going to peel off the tape. I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit messy because the tape kind of lifted up as I was applying my liner. There was a truck outside my flat. That's fun. Okay, we're going to peel off the tape. No time like the present. Cotton buds, essential for everything. I just quickly cleaned up that edge, all sorted. I'm now just putting on some mascara. This is the bPerfect Bad Llama mascara and I just remembered to put on my lights. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop on some of this. I do really like this mascara. It's just kind of like a traditional like plastic brush one. I will say I feel like this is not like the most volumizing mascara, but it just helps to kind of lengthen and separate the lashes. So if that's your thing, you will like this. And don't worry about any kind of mascara mess, I'm going to fix that later. For lashes, I'm going to hop off screen and pop these on. These are the Eye Candy lashes in the style L, and they're kind of like separated lashes, a bit choppy and fluffy, like they're my kind of vibe. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on and I'll be right back. Ta-da! I am back with the lashes on. I actually really love these lashes. I'm actually getting lash extensions at the end of the month ready for my holiday, and I think I'm gonna take these lashes to my lash technician and I'm gonna show her these lashes and be like, can you please copy these, because I love them, because I feel like you can still kind of see the eyeshadow through the lashes because they're not like a block. They're kind of choppy, they're bigger at the outer corner. Love these lashes. I'm gonna move on to the face. To prime the face, I'm gonna take the Face Theory Ultra Glide Face Primer. This is silicone free. I've actually been really loving this lately. Going to massage this in. Just make sure I put quite a lot on top of that like textured bit of skin to kind of smooth that over a bit. For foundation, I'm going to take the Revolution In Real Life Filter Foundation. This is in the shade F8 and I've been loving this. This is just like a really good kind of dupe for like a MAC Studio Fix kind of vibe. Maybe Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, I love Charlotte Tilbury, so I feel like kind of bad for saying that, but this is really good if you like a full coverage foundation that's going to last. So yeah, really like this. This is in the shade F8. Just popping it onto my skin with my very beaten up Real Techniques sponge. I definitely need to get a new beauty blender because this is not acceptable. Now moving on to cream contour slash bronzer, cream bronzer really. I'm going to take the C12 Concealer Revolution Pro Ultimate Radiant Under Eye Concealer. I feel like I said that in such an awkward way. I'm going to use this to cream bronze, just applying it in my usual areas. So I'm just going to go under kind of cheekbone area, tops of my forehead, especially because I've got my hair up, and then a little bit down the nose. Then I'm going to blend that into the skin with an angled kabuki brush. This is the Sigma Fake Kabuki F89 brush. I'm just going to start with the under the jaw slash double chin area. Then I'm going to blend out around my cheek. In a stippling motion to start off with, just to kind of make sure the product is staying in the area that we want it to. And blend just here. I'm then going to go in with the matching concealer. This is the Revolution In Real Life Filter Finish Concealer in the shade C5. Again, really been liking this, picking this up a lot lately. This is in the shade C5. I just said that. I'm going to pop it in my usual places, so chin, forehead, under the eyes, basically all over the face. If you came here for minimal coverage, you've come to the wrong channel, just as a heads up. So I'm going to take the concealer and go ahead and apply it. Then going to blend it out with the same beauty sponge. I'm now going to take the same concealer, just in a different shade. This is C3, so much lighter. And I'm going to pop a little bit right up in that inner corner, especially because we've got such a dark eye. This is really going to help to brighten that back up. Putting that right in that inner corner. And I'm just going to take this kind of fluffy face brush from Morphe. It hasn't got a number or anything. I'm just going to use it to blend out that concealer, just in dabbing motions. For blush, I'm actually going to take the Made by Mitchell Liquid Blusher in the shade Peach Sugar, and I'm actually going to put this on my lips later, so that's going to be fun. So I'm going to pop that onto the back of my hand and then apply it to my cheeks. I'm just going to take my sponge because obviously I know this looks quite intense, and then I'm just going to kind of blend out the edges a little bit of the blush. When you put powder and stuff like that on, it's gonna reduce the appearance of the blush anyway. So just bear that in mind. But I love these blushes and they last for so long. I'm now gonna make a complete mess everywhere and set the face. I'm taking the Huda Beauty Pound Cake powder. I love this powder. I just hate the packaging, hate the whole like netted design, but the actual powder itself is lovely. I've just quickly taken off the foundation off my lips. I feel like this look looks basically complete, but now it's all the kind of like final touches. So I'm going back to the Gravity palette, and I just feel like the under lash line needs a little bit of something. So I'm just going to take the shade Grayscale, not the darkest one, just the lighter grey that we use right here. I'm going to pop it underneath the lash line. Just taking it on the tip of my brush, and I'm just going to very lightly brush this underneath. This isn't really gonna like add massive amount of smokiness. I just feel like something needs to be there. I'm now just gonna pop this black liner through the waterline. This is the Jordana Easy Liner for Eyes in the shade Black. I feel like Jordana takes me back to like old school YouTube days. I'm just gonna pop this in the waterline because I feel like it just needs that little like extra pop, you know? Look at the difference. Love. Just gonna do the other eye. I'm now just gonna put a little bit of mascara, like the tiniest amount, on my lower lashes just to balance out the eye. Moving back to the face, I'm taking the Dull Beauty bronzer Give Me Sun medium. I'm just going to show you how well loved it is. Not only is the packaging kind of a little bit cracked from when I dropped it and just kind of tattered, but look at the pan. You can tell, guys, this is my favourite bronzer. It used to be the NYX medium bronzer. It's a Dull Beauty one. This is my favourite, and it's so affordable and you get so much product. I've probably had this for like a year and a half and I use it all the goddamn time. Taking that around my forehead. Love a bronzed forehead. Then like around the cheek, under the jaw, and just all over the neck really. Pat that over my nose. For blush, I'm going to go in with another very well loved product. This is the Dull Beauty Pretty Fly blush in Take Me to the Peach. Tell by the broken packaging. The packaging is actually very durable, I'm just not. As you can see, I'm very, very clumsy, and I've actually started collecting a compilation of bloopers. So that is going to come soon to one of my channels, so look out for that. But this is the most beautiful shade. It's matte, and I feel like this is just going to add a little bit of extraness on top of the blush. Don't need loads, obviously, but just a little bit. That's all I'm going to do. I'm then going to set the whole thing into place with the Revolution Super Fix Super Hold Misting Spray. I'm just going to give this a good shake and just spray this all over. Nearly done. I'm just going to take the Dull Beauty liner in the shade Boy Bye. Going to fill in the edges slightly. And now for the final touch, I'm going to be taking the same blush that I used on the cheeks in the shade Peach Sugar, and I'm just going to dab this in the centre of the lip, and that's going to tie in with the blush on the cheeks perfectly. And then just take your finger and then just dab it out. This is literally such a me lip shade, like slightly pink but kind of muted in a sense. And this is the finished makeup look using the bPerfect Gravity Palette. Safe to say, big thumbs up for this one. I mean, I love bPerfect eyeshadows. I've got their I'm looking over their because they're right there. Got the Carnival 3 palette and the Tahiti palette, and I tend to just gravitate towards either of those, mainly the Tahiti one actually, for like raves, festivals, just like fun, colourful makeup, which is completely my vibe when it comes to makeup. Even when I used to do clients, I would always wish that they would ask for something colourful, but I know this isn't a colourful look, but just something a bit bold, a bit fun. You know, I do love a glam kind of neutral look, I do, and it's typically what I would opt for when I kind of don't have like the mental capacity to think of a creative look. But if I could every day, I would wear makeup like this. I would wear makeup that's full coverage, glam, creative, just having a little bit of fun and being creative in your, you know, dare I say it, feminine energy. I've learned a lot about it and there's some creativity involved. But anyway, enough of that ramble. So yeah, on to the kind of just overview of the palette. As you can tell, big thumbs up from me. If you're into your cool tones, you will love this palette, and it's actually so like nicely sized. If you can kind of see, obviously my hands do not match my face, but just kind of like in reference to my hands, this is the palette right here. And what I really like about this palette, so it's got 10 mattes, 3 pressed pigments and 2 metallic shimmers, but what I like about it is there are a decent amount of like shimmers to mattes, so you can actually create a few different looks of this palette, because what I find with some palettes this size is they'll only include maybe 2 shimmers or like 1 matte shade, which is the absolute worst. So this is like a really, really good kind of palette, and I feel like bPerfect probably actually really thought about what shadows they were putting into the palette, which is really, really good. So this is like a makeup artist go-to if you want those cool tones. I love, and even though it's cool tone, I still feel like it looks kind of summery, like with my hair in this cute messy bun. I don't know, what do you think? But yeah, absolutely thumbs up from me. Highly recommend it if you like your cool tone shadows, and the quality of these shadows are like none other. They blend so nicely. The shimmers are unreal, as you saw by that foil silver shade where I just swiped it on my eye earlier. But yeah, I will have all the links and everything down below. I was gifted this palette, but there was no obligation to post. This is not a sponsored video, that kind of thing. Just this was sent to me, but this would not change my opinion. If it was bad, I would tell you. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. It's been honestly really, really fun to get kick-started with content again. I just feel like I come alive in the spring and summer months, like when the sky is blue and I wake up and it's not dark. I just feel so much more like alive and like ready to really get going, but I need to carry that on through the winter, dare I say it, once it hits end of 23 coming into 24. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did creating it. Please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and go subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're alerted when I upload a new video, which will be a lot more frequently, which I'm very excited about. Go ahead and follow me on my social media pages. I am Siobhan Makeup Biz, the same as my YouTube handle. It is the same on all platforms, so that is Instagram, TikTok and Lemonade. I'm probably most active on TikTok, to be completely honest with you, so go and follow me on there. We love TikTok, we really do. Enough of my rambly mess, but I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching, bye.